Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on-the-street encounters, and everything else about this increasingly organized hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we are coming off a full week of inventory hijinks at Casa del Dana, where Marked Out Collectibles spent, how many hours was it this week? Probably 30, 35 hours, 40 hours or so?
Yeah, I was going to say 36, 40, something along those lines. It's definitely the most amount of time I've ever spent with you in this state.
That is true. As we, basically went through all of our inventory, tried to make sense of it, catalog it, count it, make sure all of our numbers match. And so the first thing I was struck by, some of this is honestly a profoundly funny experience for me. Not the least of which was my first experience with the sort of organized, or I guess unorganized, chaos of the adventure was the fact that I needed some supplies when we began the inventory process. And so I don't know if you, our loyal listeners, will believe this, but I asked Dana for a Sharpie, just a simple Sharpie, and he replied with just in a completely dumbfounded way, like just questioning why there would be a Sharpie in his house. And I thought that was really funny. So I have to ask you, what happened to all the Sharpies?
That I don't know. I don't know what happened to all the Sharpies, but I will say I don't use Sharpies. I use super Sharpies on certain things, but I'm not some Bush League vendor here with glossy photos and a black Sharpie. This is 2026. I got Poscas, I got Decos, I got Sharpie paint. That's about it. I'm not rocking the regular traditional Sharpie.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because as we're going through your items, we found a beautiful as an 8x10, right?
Yeah, it was an 8x10. How about that, Vinny?
Of what was the property? Now I'm forgetting.
This is all very upsetting for me. Insidious.
So it was that's right, I recall now. So it was an 8x10 of Insidious, and I guess this was from your street graphing days. And you call me over and you say, "Hey, look at this." And I'm like, "What am I looking at?" And you're like, "Look at the Patrick Wilson autograph." To which I reply, "What Patrick Wilson autograph?"
Yeah. The autograph vanished, I guess, over time, and I guess just with the general oxygen and oxidation and all the great scientific things that take place all around us each day. But my dual signed, and it burned my ass, believe you me, when Lynn Shay did Monster Mania. I was very excited. I'm not sure I don't think the podcast existed.
No, but I remember you going crazy for Lynn Shay being added, and I'm like, no one cares about Lynn Shay. I remember saying no one cares about Lynn Shay.
I was very excited. Now Lynn Shay is unvirgilized because of this, because now I gotta do something else. But anyway, I had an 8x10 back when Patrick Wilson, before he was Ed Warren, or even the guy in Insidious, whose name I'm forgetting right now. He was a guy that filmed a TV show in New York City called A Gifted Man. Wasn't a great show, but I kind of enjoyed it for what it was. And he filmed in New York. I got him in New York. Actually, it's not before he was in Insidious, since I had the poster, so that makes no sense. But anyway, it was right after the first Insidious. I had my little 8x10 poster printed, because that's what I did then. I had like a $350 like printer that was better than average at the time, and I thought, ooh, this is a great idea. I'll print my crap at home, because why wouldn't I? And I got it signed in blue Sharpie outside the trailer. And the funny thing is, it looked fine. I went to Monster Mania with it, and I spent whatever I spent on Lynn Shay to add her to an 8x10. And unlike Vinny, I don't do that. So it burned my ass to have to put money into an 8x10, but I'm like, Wilson's already on it. It has some level of sentimentality since I got it on the street, whatever. And when I found it on this shelf in a little, let's just say nice orderly stack, which it really wasn't, it was gone. So I guess the Sharpie on my homemade ink, not a good recipe.
What was most funny about it was you kept trying to hold it up to the light and like, do you see? You can still kind of see it there. You can still kind of see it. And you know what? You actually could not. It was completely gone.
The outline.
Completely gone.
I wanted you to see the outline to believe me and know that it was there. It's not like I mixed up the prints. I wasn't trying to still say it had any sort of presence of a signature in any meaningful way. It was just showing what you can see, the little bit of an outline. If you, I'm going to try to get.
It was almost like the dent or something. I don't know. I don't think it can be photographed, to be honest.
I think it's sort of like something out of Insidious. You can't photograph the plasma of the ghost of the entity. So now I have a single signed Lynch Shea 8x10 in paint, so it's not going to go anywhere. But like, what the hell did I do that for? So now at some point I have to, I don't know, buy something. Very bad. Homemade printing plus Sharpie, bad combination.
And then after you put this Patrick Wilson supposedly signed thing down, we're going through piles of stuff and trying to figure out, because you have unsigned mixed with signed. You have all so many like these tattered wrestling posters from random TNA shows. Like, what is the plan for all of these things?
I think tattered's a little strong of a word. I prefer the term grizzled.
And most of them will be considered to be in fair or worse condition. What's the plan for it? When I asked you, every single one, it was the same. Oh yeah, I'm going to get it signed. Oh yeah, I'm going to get it signed. And it's like, it's hard to convey to someone who is not there how many of these random event posters were around that are just, you do acknowledge on some level you're never going to get these signed, right?
Well, the one that we're talking about, which is it's an original 11x17 TNA lockdown poster with Mick Foley and Sting on it. I'll be completely honest. I have no recollection ever laying eyes on this thing before, ever. So when I picked it off the floor, which sounds really great, but when I picked it off the floor and like unfurled it, I don't remember when I bought this or why I bought this. But I would have absolutely put that in my pile for Sting if it was in better condition and I knew I had it when I last had that good rate on Sting. Now, would I pay Sting retail prices to get that done? No. But between the rate I usually get on Foley and the rate I usually get on that I had gotten on Sting, yes, I would have invested whatever that would have come out to get that signed. I especially like the originals that are small because they fit in the Atoya and it's nice and easy.
So then what I came upon, it's like I was like an archaeologist sort of uncovering things as we were putting things away. So then I came upon just a bunch of random things. And, all right, so you can tell people when I come across things, just stuff, what is my general sort of attitude towards everything that I find?
You want to throw it out.
That's correct. I throw it out. I want to just clear stuff out of there. Just throw it all away. And in fact, one of the things I came across was a one of those little novelty license plates that said, it's those kind of things that people buy you as like a souvenir when they go on vacation that you really don't want, and it's a novelty license plate with your name on it. And so I went to throw it away, and you went, no, that's a license plate with my name on it. And I went, yes, that's why I want to throw it away. That's precisely why I want to throw it away. And you wanted to keep it.
Not only did I want to keep it, I did keep it. It is a relic of my past, and I don't know, for some reason, a lot of things have been thrown out over the years. That remained. That's been on a shelf. I don't know why. I used to have it stuck on with like sticky tape on one of the shelves in here, and the sticky tape gave way, and then it was just sitting on the shelf. I would like to have a good reason why, but it's probably the same reason I spend all this money on Hasbro's. It's some level of sort of chasing sentimentality and, memories of yesteryear.
Yeah, there's just the problem, I think, comes when it's very hard to distinguish what are valued relics from the past that there's a reason for keeping versus like junk, for lack of a better word. And that firmly falls in the junk category, at least in my opinion. And then the final thing, which I also classify as junk, probably as you would disagree, was that you have quite a vast collection of original Ring of Honor event posters. And I was looking at these. I don't even know who half the people on these posters are. And the plan is to get these signed. You can't even get them signed. Half these guys are not even in wrestling anymore. What's the plan with these posters?
Well, the plan in 2026 is different from the plan of when Ring of Honor went out of business, which I'm trying to see exactly which year that was, because time flies. Do you remember which year when it went out of business that then Tony Khan bought it?
No. 2023 maybe? 2022?
Tony Khan purchased it in 2022, and there was a little bit of a time where it was in limbo before that. I don't remember when that was exactly. It was probably somewhere in 2021. It was a casualty of COVID, although it was on life support before that. But COVID, much like it did to other companies, kind of just pulled the plug on it. And when it was announced that Ring of Honor went down the tubes, I had the idea, and to some level I stand by it. I went on eBay and I basically purchased every single original ROH poster I could find. I spent, I would say, hundreds of dollars that day buying everything I could find. And I have original, like, Bryan Danielson, Claudio, those types, that era. I think that was a valid move. As a collector, I'm happy with them. I will get more people on them. And I think there's definitely going to be a place in history, although AEW buying it and then not putting it on some big streaming deal, keeping it on Honor Club, which who the hell has Honor Club? Even I don't have Honor Club. It definitely didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I envisioned ROH as a property going sort of in an ECW sort of way, where we see this entire era of stars came from there, and in turn people would be either nostalgic about it or want to learn about it to sort of see the history of their favorites. So my logic was all of this stuff I'm buying for $30 a piece is going to be 10 times that in time, the same way you look back at Auction Andrew and he was scooping up all those old Rumble Survivor Series posters for a fraction of what they turned into.
So the plan is to sell these?
The Bryan Danielson era ones? No, I'm a collector and I want those. The ones that I had extras of, yeah, I paid $10 for them, and I figured at that point that I could get the different people on them and then sell them signed. That hasn't worked out. Jonathan Gresham went nuts. He gained 50 pounds from depression. He lost 50 pounds. The only thing he didn't gain is any height, so he's still like Gary Coleman, basically, and he's not going to make it anywhere. So that having those ROH posters from that era was a mistake. And I probably couldn't give them away if I tried. Or I'd find some idiot like me that would think, oh, for $10 each, it's an investment. So that was a mistake. The stuff I have with Danielson, and the next time Tom brings Danielson out, I promise you I will have all of those ready to go for Danielson.
You promise that you'll have all of them? This is not going to be a scenario where you...
I think I only have 3. I think I only have 3 with Danielson. I have the one on the poster board. I have one that you didn't even see. That was it was Danielson and Marufuji. It was from that. It was like that. It was during the run of Marishima as world champion. I think I only have 2 or 3 with Danielson, which is probably the only 2 or 3 I should have purchased. That's the era people are going to care about. The Adam Cole, Jonathan Gresham, Taven era of ROH. No one cares about. That's like the late ECW era. That late 2000 era where no one's going to ever really be nostalgic for.
So in all of this cleaning and organizing, we did get some of the shelves looking pretty decent, and it's really going to dovetail nicely into what we hope will be. So once that room is finished, once the inventory is finished and that room is finished, we plan to, because I don't know if people have been paying attention, but Apple Podcasts has recently announced that it will start supporting video shortly. And so our plan is to switch over to a video format. Now, of course, it'll still be playable, in the car, on the podcast app and whatnot, but switch to a video format. We're shooting for the summer. What do you think? I'm honestly anxious about going to video. I feel like no one actually wants to see my face. And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't really get dressed for these recordings. So I'm gonna have to start getting dressed for these things.
I mean, I'm assuming you're not doing them nude.
I mean, not bare ass naked, but I do walk around the house in my underwear from time to time, and it's warm in the house. So,
well, I mean, I don't think we're seeing you, below the waist. This is like, I think COVID rules apply. I think we can sort of be, I think we can have our junk hanging out as long as we have a presentable shirt on during the video. I think it's fine. I'm with you. I'm not super excited about video. I think, like, I don't know. Do I have to look interested at all times? So, like, if I look bored, is that bad? Do I don't know. Like, I assume if you see my face at points during the show, I'm just sort of staring into nothing. I feel like I got to nod. I have to really, like, sort of play along with what's going on, like, visually. I don't love it. Also, what I've been contemplating is where I sit is in the office at a table, and I have shelves behind me. So I'm trying to put, like, cool things on the shelves behind me. I don't want that to be the crappy shelf with, like, just, like, collapsible crates on it, because I want to have some personality sort of for the viewers. They will be viewers and not just listeners after we make the move. And I'm not sure if anyone has seen those, like, Instagram ads where you could turn your car's screen. You go, like, watch, like, Netflix while you're driving, which is, like, deranged. But have you seen that, Sean?
I don't think I'm the target demographic for those kind of ads.
I'm not sure who is the target. I'm not sure how I got on that list, but I apparently am the target demographic. Maybe we could start selling car adapters with the Marked Out Radio logo, and you can watch us while you're driving. You can see Sean getting excited about Brooke Shields while you're driving. I think that might make the overall Marked Out experience richer.
So anyway, sound off in the comments if you think this is a good idea. I'm not entirely sold on it, but many people have suggested that video is kind of needed. I'm just concerned a little bit. If this is going to be a very selfish concern, but I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of editing they'll have to do. And because I don't think the tools are as robust. I mean, I edit the whole show in Audacity, and it doesn't take very long. But adding video into the mix, now I really can't do the same kinds of editing in Audacity. I can't do the silence trimming and those kinds of things. It'll mess with the video. So I'm not sure what to do.
I will say, though, I kind of wish we could go back on, like, past moments of Marked Out Radio and have, like, I want to see a glimpse inside Dhillon Hines' house when he had that carpenter in there. They were, like, ripping out his sink or whatever the hell they were doing during the interview. And we heard, like, circular saws and dogs barking and craziness. I would like to imagine that video. Imagine Class, when Class was talking about the garbage candy. Like, what do you think Class was up to at that point?
Probably just sitting there staring into his phone or his laptop.
I guess. I'd like to imagine there was, this something pathetic going on at the time. Beyond what he was saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I gotta think about what I'm gonna end up feeling more pressure to, like, insert video clips and things, and I don't know. I gotta chew on this and wrestle with it a little bit because it's making me nervous. But this is the push, and everyone's doing it, and Lord knows that when everyone's doing something, you have to jump on the train, or else you come ostracized.
Peer pressure,
and then you die.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not. So that's it for the inventory. There has been some, I don't know what's in the water lately or what's going on. Maybe everyone's getting a little bit anxious because of the upcoming snowstorm, but there's been some craziness in the world of in the con world, people behaving badly. First there was an incident at what con was it?
Let me check the original post. I know it was going on this weekend at Pensacon
in Pensacola, Florida. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold up. I'm trying to just find the exact what the origin was of this. This was in GalaxyCon, Savannah, Georgia. What happened was Sean Clark, who runs Convention All-Stars. If you go to any of these types of horror cons, I don't want to say, he doesn't do like NYCC really, but like GalaxyCon, obviously. He brings in a lot of different talent of the horror genre. He had Dermot Mulroney at the show, and he doesn't accept Venmo as a general rule. He accepts cash. a gentleman by the name of Lance went to the table, wanted to use Venmo. The convention all-star staffer / volunteer, I'm not sure which how to really classify it. She took mercy upon him and she allowed him to pay her personal Venmo and allow him to get the photo op without having cash. What ended up happening, apparently the gentleman went to contacted his bank, claimed he never made the transaction, and did a chargeback. So she lost the $80. Sean Clark lost the $80. I guess, by extension, Dermot Mulroney lost the $80. And this person decided then to post the photo op. Because, I mean, whether it's a paid for photo op or a swindled photo op, what good is a photo op without the clout that you derive from having it? That Dermot Mulroney clout is great. So
if a photo op happens but it's not posted, does it make a sound? Anyway,
it does not.
That's terrible.
It does not make a sound. So he posted that apparently Sean Clark and his team found him. Some good internet bullying went on, and I say bullying in the best possible way because in some cases you gotta bully people on the internet if they do theft and just overall generally scummy things. So it like went around. I think he paid them back. He was removed from Pensacon. I think Pensacon is not letting him back in the future, but I mean, if this guy loses like 15 pounds, he'll be unrecognizable. If he lost 200 pounds, he could damn near have a whole new life. So
I think change species at that point.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be hard for him to sneak in. I guess he could also, I would say he could also gain 20 pounds, but I don't know if the physics would really allow for that.
They're really punching hard here. Here's the thing with this. And I hesitated to cover this story at all for the simple reason that you take one look at this guy and you realize there's something amiss. I mean, he's like 1,200 pounds. He's he obviously, just looking at his face, there's some kind of intellectual limitations going on here.
Are you saying he's a limited adult?
Yeah, he is a limited adult, and like you look at the guy and he has all these limitations, and right away the impulse is, I mean, look. Should he be stealing photo ops at conventions? No, but at the same time, to create, I love like the whipping up they're whipping up these people in a frenzy. All these people on Facebook, these warriors who want to come out and like it's like a mob of limited adults chasing down another limited adult with pitchforks and torches, and it's like, oh, good Lord. And so I just have a hard time with stuff like this. Especially because, I mean, honestly, I also argue with you. I didn't think you could charge back Venmo like that. I don't understand how you can. I thought Venmo, one of the whole points of using Venmo was that it really can't be undone. So I don't know. I just have a hard time. I imagine stuff like this happens all the time, but I think the bigger picture is whether, this impacts, I mean, obviously this one incident's not going to do much, but I guess, will I think twice about taking Venmo from people? Probably not. Usually I take Venmo. I don't even really think about it. But
I have a couple.
Are you gonna? Is this gonna make you pause when taking Venmo from people? Well, you never do. I always do. So
yeah, I probably not. Because here's the thing. A couple little points I want to make. First point, I think you're being a bit hypocritical since you're still dragging Justin Dhillon for stealing that photo op in a sense in the lobby, which I mean he did, but technically you could argue he didn't get it at our table, so maybe he stole it in a more abstract way than this guy did. And I would argue, I think it was probably around Sean Clark's loss probably has us by $20. So I mean you weren't above talking about it when it happened to us. So I think this is just as valid of a gripe. That's my
first. But the difference is, here's the problem. I think this is, for me anyway, Sean Clark walks around thinking like he's a 50-year-old man who dresses like he's 19 years old, right? And thinking, so there right away there's a kind of a disparity there in terms of social norms, and this, and then he's sitting there picking on this guy who's again like functionally disabled. And like this guy, Justin Dhillon, the reason why it's funny to curse him and make fun of him is because he walks around thinking he's cool, right? In this world of limited adults, he feels he's a kingpin, and that's funny to me because it's like sure it's almost like Borat walking around going king of the castle, like oblivious that people are making fun of him. That's sort of people like that. It's funny to see them get their comeuppance, and so. Yes, I feel bad. Even though this guy Lance, whatever. First of all, his name is Lance. I feel bad for that. And then also, he's I can't. If you take one look at him, you go, okay, never mind. I'm not. I withdraw my complaint. Because he looks like messed up. And then it's hard. It's hard for me to want to sick the internet lynch mob on him when these other people are herbs in their own way. I just feel that way. I can't take seriously these people who take themselves so seriously. So that's my take on that.
All right, I have one counter, one more side point, and then we can move on. I can't look down on Sean Clark for sort of going after a limited adult, since we probably had a 5-episode run in the summer where we went after limited adults from Staten Island for I wouldn't say for sport. I mean, I think we were kind of bringing about some improvements in the hobby and awareness. But at the end of the day, I am not above poking fun at a limited adult. So I can't judge there. I can't. I hear you with Justin Dhillon, where he's more of he tries to be cool. This guy is just what he was. But if he was that limited of an adult, I don't know if you would have this whole scenario down, right? To say that you didn't make the purchase. He was somewhat savvy as far as doing the chargeback. If he was completely just mouth breathing, I don't know if he would have succeeded in the way he did. Unless it's so simple, even a mouth breather can do it.
I'm not commenting on the precise value of his IQ. You look at him and you go, he's an unfortunate looking guy. I mean, his life is horrible. You know what I'm saying? Take one look at it. His life sucks.
So if someone a little heavier or just worse overall than Justin Dhillon steals from us, you are not going to be upset then, because you're going to have sympathy on the difficulty.
I think there's a difference between being upset and someone like Sean Clark, who commands sort of an army of, for lack of a better word, internet morons, right? Because he is looked up to among this subset of, fans. Because again, among these people, sort of, again, a 50-year-old man who, dresses like he's 19, looks cool or something. And so there's a certain coolness that is conferred upon him. And so he is then able to command this army of people to harass this unfortunate guy. Yes, I do think there's a difference between harassing. I don't want anyone to harass Richie. The whole point of talking about Richie was that we all knew Richie wasn't in charge of anything. Richie was being duped by Timmy, and honestly, there's an alarming similarity in physical appearance between Sean Clark and Timmy Embler. Is there not? They look the same. They're two 50-year-old guys who try to look way younger than they are. And so there's a certain, I don't know. Obviously they're not, one is a legitimate businessman, the other one's a thief. But it's like in the case of Richie, the point was to elucidate that he was being duped himself. In this case here, he was commanding, and even when you read the DMs because he posted them all between him and this guy Lance, he's almost snarkily admitting, all right, I'll call off the lynch mob off of you. And it's again, yes, I suppose, yes, this guy Lance did something wrong. It is a bad thing to steal money from anyone. I'm not saying that it's not, but to sick his lynch mob of morons on this guy, sort of, to me, it indicates a little bit of something about his character also. That's why I didn't feel great about it, because again, you take one look at this guy and he's very unfortunate looking. And
personally,
sounding.
If someone did that to us, if I had a lynch mob of people that would sort of move on my command and it would detract and deter other people from doing the same thing to me, I would utilize that. So if it says something about Sean Clark, maybe it says something about me, because I would have done the exact same thing. And I think to some level, I think that's kind of what, I don't have an exact example, but I would like to think that people are aware, if you really try to rip us off, that we have a platform and we will drag you and string you up in town square. and don't play with us and don't rip us off, because we have the platform and the ability to do that. I don't really care how limited you are. If you screw with me like that, I would drag you the same way he did.
I just think there are ways of doing it. Like they got the police involved. That was probably sufficient, right?
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
No, of course it is. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about it. Getting the police involved was probably sufficient. This was done for theater. And so, yeah, he got his scalp. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, again, they got to beat up this unfortunate fat guy. But I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do the same thing. I prefer to pick on people who can at least put up somewhat of a fight, as is evidenced by the several bombs I threw already in this episode. So that's kind of how I roll. The other thing, speaking of which, this is it's kind of related also. So there's a guy who runs a pretty popular Facebook group about horror autographs, who was completely randomly attacked over Facebook Messenger in the middle of the night by an agent who, I think calling him an agent is probably a stretch of the meaning of the word, but he functions in an agent capacity at Chiller Theater. I guess the kid, he's not a kid, he's a man. The person in question had posted a candid photo of a guest from Chiller, Burton Gilliam, I think it was. Am I right?
I don't even know who that is, but yes, that's the name.
He posted a candid shot back in 2018, so years ago, almost a decade ago, for crying out loud. And I guess this guy, what the hell is his name? Bobby Bank. He found the post online from almost 8 years ago, and went off on this insane, really unwell tirade that threatening Jeremy. I guess I should beat that, but screw it. His name is Jeremy. Threatening Jeremy that he was going to come after him or do something to him at Chiller Theater if he didn't take the picture down. Really, kind of an unhinged rant. And this is someone who is reasonably connected in the Chiller Theater world.
Yeah, it was strange. I don't know Bobby at all. I believe I met and spoke to him in passing a time or two, and I had nothing bad to say. See, he seemed fine. He was the average kind of guy that you see in this world, which, I guess you could maybe take that as a backhanded compliment or a snarky insult, but, he was just an average guy. He didn't seem crazy. This is a little out there. I initially assumed that I know Jeremy tends to sort of repost a lot of he'll post stories over and over and over again. That's his thing. It's his group. It's a popular group. So whatever he does works. And I'm a member of it. So I'm not talking crap about that. But I assumed it was something he had reposted or bumped or shared or did something that made it more current. I don't know how Bobby would have found this from 8 years ago and at night, whatever it was yesterday, the day before. I don't know why he was so upset about it. I would like to think maybe not to make excuses. Maybe something's happening in his life where he just had some massive fight. I know I've had things that if something in my real life pisses me off and you pick up your phone and you have some stupid message on eBay asking you some dumb question that maybe you respond a little snarkier than usual because you're mad about something else and you just take it out. I don't know. Maybe he's a drinker. I don't know. It's weird. And I never understand. I don't get the whole thing with candids. I sometimes get annoyed when we have talent and you have those photographers that come around. They don't spend a dime with you and they want to just take these stupid candids. But ultimately,
no. The photographers don't take candids. The photographers ask them to pose.
Well, that's
drop
true, yes.
What they're doing and pose. That's very different.
Yes, to pose. I apologize. That I can understand, but if someone, and usually Jeremy spends money because these stories he tells, he always has autographs and photo ops and things. So this is a guy that spends money and he took a stupid candid photo it's not even flash photography. You're not blinding these people. You're snapping this candid photo. Who cares? Why do you care? If this was yesterday and he yelled at him like this, I would say the same thing. Why do you care? Is there this point that you're making these veiled innuendo threats of I'll deal with you at Chiller? you're gonna fight this Facebook group operator because he took a candid of a guest I never heard of, and I'm not using myself as a barometer because who the hell cares what I've heard of? But I mean, this isn't like Madonna. He wasn't taking. He didn't have a phone under Madonna's bathroom stall. It's a guy at a convention. There's no expectation of privacy at all. And candids are not monetized. Put them on the menu then. If you want people to not take candids, charge $10 for them. They're not monetized. Like, it doesn't matter. It's dumb. And anyone that reacts like this, I defended Sean Clark's reaction because basically, screw that guy. You're going to steal from me. I'm going to drag you. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on in his life. I'm not above having some mercy if he had whatever. But what I saw in those screenshots is that's not a rational reaction.
No, it's totally unhinged. And I don't know. It was actually very alarming to have. But the broader point about candids, if you're an agent and you care about candids, it's one thing because some of these guests are really paranoid about candids. And at some point, they have to get over it. Okay, you're out in public. I know you want to claim that there are certain areas where candidates aren't allowed. You're out in public. There's media everywhere. The people are charged admission to get in. You need to relax with the candidates. I mean, come on.
I know on my level, I saw people taking they'd walk by and snap a quick candid of Olivia. And did Olivia like that? Did she care? Personally, I couldn't care less. I'm not going to get in people's faces over candids. If you're going to stand like this, keep taking pictures and blocking up the thoroughfare and letting people see our guest and whatever like that, sure, that's a problem. But don't take that candid. Who cares? I didn't.
As much of a pain in the ass as Olivia was, she never mentioned anything about that. So she probably didn't even notice what was going on. No, as be my guess, because she was out of it anyway.
Yeah.
It was a very strange thing to attack a relatively prominent member of the community in a way that was psychotic.
I think
it was psychotic. Let's not mince words. It was a psychotic attack, and it was
and
bizarre.
I think he knew exactly who he was because he's like, I'm sick of your photos. I assume there's other candids of other ones of this guy's clients, and maybe there was some interaction in person where he said, stop doing that. And there's no way to make it not psychotic, but I assume this guy is prominent, Jeremy, and I'm assuming he was well aware who he was talking to. It doesn't make it any better, but just for context, I'm sure he was aware who he was talking to.
Yeah, I'm not sure it makes it better. I don't think it makes it. I'm just trying to imagine what it would take for me to speak to someone that way. I really don't think anything. It was that strange.
To go back to Justin Dhillon, you didn't jump in his DMs like that. What you said was sort of a statement of fact, and you moved on. You didn't go crazy.
I didn't jump in his DMs at all. I commented on the photo that he posted.
You did. You commented.
And I said, I'm not sure why you think you don't have to pay for this. Please PayPal me what you owe me. That's what I said. That's all I said. That was it. Very, very rational. And he immediately deleted the photo. So, yeah, I'm not going to fight with these people because come on. I don't inhabit the world they inhabit. Come on.
I do still love that it happened, and it this is a matter of history that you went into someone's comments trying to solicit the payment from a mooched photo. I don't think any promoter, I don't think Terrence in his peak ever did that. Like that is really a good move.
To be fair, back when that was happening, Instagram wasn't really a thing.
True.
People would post on the board or whatever, be different. But I don't know. And with Facebook, you have to be friends with someone. The groups back then, when Legends of the Ring when people were doing that, the Facebook groups weren't even really a thing. People were just posting them on their pages.
I mean, Terrence, if there were groups out there back then when people would have been posting like lobby shots from Legends of the Ring, but make no mistake, Terrence would have done what you did and then some. He just didn't have the opportunity to. I'm proud to be sort of affiliated with the Jackie Robinson of comment shakedowns.
That is hilarious. Anyway, yeah. So that's that. That's for con craziness. There were some reports this week, not a whole ton, but a couple. Vinny went out and he got Mandy Patinkin on an 8x10 naturally. Had been already signed by Bernadette Peters, so that's done. I believe he got him outside Symphony Space. I didn't see a photo op, and I believe someone commented asking if he did photo ops, but I'm not sure if Vinny answers. I don't know what's up with that.
I asked Vinny directly. He told me he did a couple. Vinny didn't get it. Yeah, I think it was something where Vinny stayed. I think if he would have stayed in the lobby, he did more in the lobby. But he went outside, and by going outside, he gave his item to some staffer. I'm not sure how it exactly happened, but he didn't get it. Mandy is honest.
He's not the easiest, right?
He's usually a knob. He's a pain in the ass. I met him. Yeah. I met him once with Lanza, and I can't remember the exact. I think I got autographs. I did get autographs. They've probably since faded to nothing because they were homemade prints.
No evidence they exist.
I got man. Actually, where the hell are they? I got Mandy on a couple Homeland pieces. Ooh, I didn't remember I had those. Okay, I gotta look for those. But he wouldn't do photos, and I'm as bad as half the people out there. I just called the poor guy a knob, and he signed for me. I mean, he didn't owe me any more than that. But it was one of those experiences where someone can do something and you still don't really have a good experience. Not that he owed me one.
Yeah, you got to be careful. But in marked out parlance, using the word knob was sometimes referred to the legendary Ira Nobler, and then who is anything but a jerk. So you got to be
that
careful.
Is true. In marked out lexicon, a knob is a. You're right. I didn't want to get us another explicit rating. I mean, we already talked about you doing the future video episodes pantless, and then if we have an explicit rating and video, I mean, this might turn into something else. So we can't be explicit anymore. So I was trying for a nice way to say something else, but you're right. Nobler is knob. So he wasn't the knob, but I didn't get a photo either.
Alas. Mike, no, I'm sorry, I skipped one. Richard Rose hit the wrestling collector, got Mickey James, Tony Atlas, Buff Bagwell, got looking at a bunch of cards. I tell you, they really got it under the wire because they were all in town for this, and I believe there's supposed to be another con today that they're at also, right?
Yeah, SnowCon 2026. Yeah, Salvatore's con is going on today, which I don't know what Salvatore did to the combo gods, but I mean, you schedule a con, your first con, and then you get literally a blizzard. Like, talk about the worst possible scenario. I was supposed to be there, but like a lot of the people I needed are not, so I'm not. So here I am.
Indeed. Michael went down. I believe this was in Florida, actually. Got Jake the Snake on that. This kills me. It's that very limited. There's limited to 100 pieces. That Rick Martel Jake the Snake 2-pack, but it's the one with the hoods in it. Those hoods. I mean, to be honest, they added 2 little lumps of black fabric, and then it's way more money to get those things. So I actually never bought that one. I had the one without the hoods. That's a lot of money. It's like $400 or $500 for that thing.
No, it's really nice. I believe Michael was messaging me about that. I know someone was messaging me, like asking me for like color opinions, and I think it was Michael. I mean, I lose track of things, but it looks great. I think that's the color I suggested. So if it wasn't Michael, well then great minds think alike. But it looks great.
And then Richard got Michael Richards in Atlanta. A lot of Richards here. That was one of those City Winery things. Am I right?
I don't know if the Atlanta was City Winery. I don't know for sure. I think the Nashville one was City Winery.
All right. But in any case, there was some kind of speaking thing. What was most noteworthy, though, was how many empty seats there were in this venue. So I think they messed up. They artificially restricted the number of meet and greet tickets. There were very, very low. These are like 15 sold. And then no one bought the regular ticket to see the event. So there were lots of empty seats in that event.
Yeah, I guess perhaps Hotlanta is not quite so forgiving of Michael Richards' transgressions. If that has anything to do with it, maybe Seinfeld doesn't play so hot in Georgia. I'm not sure. It's a little surprising. The pricing wasn't terrible. I mean, meet and greet pricing. If he was at a con, it really wouldn't be any cheaper. arguably be higher. The thing was there were no autographs except the book, and which wasn't spelled out. If you do enough of these things, you kind of assume. You go prepared, but you kind of assume it won't be. But staff was rude and pushy. Directions were confusing. And I think if they saw you with an item, it wasn't just a simple, hey, buddy, I'm sorry, we don't have time for that. It was sort of a Bobby Bank level response of, if you do it, we're going to throw you out without refund. And like
they were screaming at people, and it made no sense because it never said you were allowed to get the book signed. Like, it wasn't even that. It was nothing. No. And then the people getting screamed at, just chaotic. That's what happens though when you have a team that's trying to do meet and greets who doesn't really know how meet and greets are done, and you get kooky behavior.
Yeah, I'm still watching. I completely wussed out. I own it. I did. I could have flown down. I mean, it would have hurt our inventory, but I wouldn't even have been days off. So I really could have done it. I didn't. No regrets. But if he does New York, I'm in. If he does like some weird Connecticut, if he does like the Macaulay Culkin venue, I'm in. He does Jersey or Philly, I'm in. Beyond that, I'm not going to wuss out again and say something I'll back out on. I think Connecticut and Philly is
the only venue he's doing is the great big venue in the sky. That's what I think.
So you think Michael's going to, the boldest of bold predictions, Michael is going to die by spring?
As sick as this sounds, I certainly hope so. I think it'll be very funny content if he were to die by spring. And then I could just endlessly taunt you for not going to Atlanta to get him.
That's fair.
And then he would be in the Andre realm, and you wouldn't care about him anymore.
Within reason. I think I'd still care.
Let's see. So Wicked Ink Wednesday. I actually pulled all wrestling autographs, which I really don't typically do. But we had some wild ones this week. So C-Rat had his dual sign Mega Powers promo. Now, when you see a promo like that, and Miss Elizabeth is pictured, but she didn't sign it, does it pinch you in a weird way, or do you just not even notice?
No. Ideally, yes, but no. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen I've definitely never seen a triple signed one. I don't know if I've ever seen another dual signed one. It's just one of those things where nothing in life is truly perfect. So you have to just take as close to the mark as you can get, and that's pretty damn close.
What else did I put in there? John Sig again. He's making the podcast 2 weeks in a row. He had a dual signed Hogan Warrior WWF magazine. I love that cover. And Sig was kind of the king of the airports at one point, right? The hotels. He would go out constantly and get everybody.
Sig was a titan of the game back in the day. He had every single person. He had the McMahons. He had Taker when that meant something. He had everybody, and it's frustrating to see like what things. I got all the wrong items done during that era. My Ultimate Warrior item was on some crappy it wasn't home printed, but it was like I don't even know what the hell printer I used back in the day. And the blue Sharpie was not looking great on it after a couple of years, and I sold it during COVID I have nothing in person from Warrior. I squandered that opportunity. I squandered many Hogan opportunities. This is what I should have been doing when the pricing was right. And, kudos to Sig for doing it right.
For sure. And then also, I don't know if you've ever seen this. Were you a collector of those classic WWF trading cards?
I don't know if I would say collector, because I think at that point I was so young buying them. I think I had them. I would rip them open. I would look at them. I would put them in a stack with a rubber band on it, which is not good. And I would, look at them again and again, whatever. I didn't really collect and see who I needed and chase after them like that. No, but I definitely had them.
I mean, what's crazy about that set is that they're not desirable at all. You can buy the whole set right now. It's like $10. Like they're so common. They must have printed 1 billion of them, because there's just no value there. I mean, I still have a full set of them, believe it or not, in my parents' basement. I had the album. I had the stickers. There was like a variant set that were purple. I have all of them. They're worthless though. But anyway, Kyle posted a Rick Rude card signed by Rick Rude. I haven't seen one of those. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. I always like seeing those the retro like that, the retro signed cards.
You know what's funny though is guys like that. Like the Rick Rudes, the Mr. Perfects, the Earthquakes. You tend to find them on those cards because there were people like the airport stalkers and the hotel stalkers from the early '90s. That's what they would get signed because those cards were so ubiquitous. You know.
But here's the problem, and I'm not disparaging Kyle's at all. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but there is such a flood of fake cards on eBay. There's a handful of sellers in particular, but those like early '90s cards, I could go on right now and find you 50 signed by the Ultimate Warrior that are fake. So it's tough to find them. But like anything else, if you have a good eye and you sort of assess the tells of the forger, you could find some real ones for sure.
We also had Photo with Friday this week. So Belinda posted her shot with Eddie Guerrero. Looked great. Andrew, I really got a huge laugh out of this. He posted a shot with suited Liev Schreiber, but it was like a dual suited. He was suited because he was character suited, but he was also literally suited wearing a suit.
Suitedception. Yes, yeah. Suitedception. It's awesome. And as a Ray Donovan fan, that's sick. Whenever you get someone in the wardrobe, that is awesome. And Andrew was clearly listening to our episode when we talked about suited. So thank you for listening and making me jealous with that Ray Donovan op.
Vin posted a shot with Jack Johnson in Hawaii. Vin certainly travels around, doesn't he? This was years ago, but still, it was 14 years ago or something. But he certainly makes his way around. And Jack Johnson's the name
I gotta hack Vin's frequent flyer account and take a couple of those miles. He's getting around.
I also had to laugh because my brother he was a week late to the party posting his shot with James Vanderbeek, but he did comment that so he does have a James Vanderbeek Funko signed from Dawson's Creek that he got done at 90s Con, and there are like none of these out there. They're very hard to find. And his wife is refusing to allow him to sell it.
Listen, if his wife really loved James Vanderbeek, she would have let him sell it, and then they could have donated all of it to the GoFundMe.
Oh my God! We didn't even talk about more developments have happened since last week. I had talked about the GoFundMe, but there was something else. Shoot, there was something else that happened.
They were selling. There was something that was being sold.
Oh, the autograph. It was an autograph thing. Yeah. Before he died, they had sold people these jerseys. They were pre-ordered jerseys like for his cancer struggle or whatever, and they were supposed to come signed. And then obviously he died, so he couldn't sign them. And everyone who pre-ordered one got an email basically begging them to not cancel their orders. They would ship them out unsigned. And because if you cancel the orders, it's like taking money out of the pocket of his wife. It was grotesque. I sent you that link, right? It was grotesque.
It was. I touched on this the other day, and I'm gonna stand by this, but with a caveat. I think James Vanderbeek had one of the most poignant deaths I've seen. The posts were great. His videos he was putting out, talking about what he's learned in life and talking about his father and his kids. It was great. I never really gave a crap for Vanderbeek just because I didn't watch Dawson's Creek, surprisingly. I usually watched all the other kind of like fruity shows like that. Like I was an OC guy. But I wasn't a Dawson's Creek for whatever reason. But his family, I don't want to blame him for this, but the family, I don't know, this whole thing and guilting people about getting refunds and GoFundMes when the parents have multi-million-dollar properties that they just purchased. Like, I don't know. It all seems kind of distasteful, but I mean, who am I to judge? I don't know what the hell their situation is.
I mean, we have a pretty good idea because it's out in public. So as a general rule, begging for money is bad. It looks bad.
Especially from the commoners like us that like, I mean, if you're in some sort of a Epstein adjacent, like famous Illuminati style group chat and you want to hit up some of your billionaire buddies for some help, go for it. But you're going to shake down the people that are, making nothing.
Society has changed so much. It used to be considered distasteful to hit up the hoi polloi for money. And now it's not. Howard Stern actually has talked about this, like, because years ago, some of his fans and some of his employees tried to get him to have a Stern con where they would have, people basically the autograph convention, and Howard was like, I don't want to sell. Like, I don't want to rely on my fans who have no money to give me money. It feels disgusting. So there used to be this, like, and he talked about, there used to be this kind of barrier, because this is sort of directly related to the con world in a way. There used to be this barrier between people who of means. They would feel it was distasteful to accept money from people who don't have any. And
Well, I think
that has gone out the window big time in society.
I think what destigmatizes it is if like you're taking money for autographs and photo ops. I mean, like a photo op, you're taking the person's money who probably, you know, that photo op is half a shift for a lot of these people, and we do the same thing. I'm not looking down on anyone. We're charging whatever we're charging. These people have a lot less money than I'm sure we even do. And I mean, I'll speak for myself. I'm not doing too great right now financially. I'm certainly not like Scrooge McDuck swimming through a vault. And that's just the way it is. Like, how many women have we worked with? I don't want to name any names, but if you go on their Instagrams, they have the wish lists, and that's like the big thing, which, I mean, I don't blame them. If I could put up an Amazon wish list and like I'd say, whoa, someone from Chuck from Milwaukee. I hope we don't have a listener named Chuck from Milwaukee, but he bought me a foot massager. I mean, I would take it with happiness. But that's the whole thing. It's destigmatized because they take everything they can from people anyway.
I think there's a difference, though, between the kind of people we work with and people who are like have real money.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. That is.
I mean, one of the things. I mean, look, you know, I don't want to blow up anyone's spot, but there are several of the people who we've worked with who I know more about their personal finances than I would want to, and none of them had any money at all.
All I'll say about Vanderbeek. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead. That was it, really.
Okay. I read a couple little things, and I didn't go super deep in the research of this, but I read certain things that said that he was doing a lot of like sort of, you know, not conventional Western techniques and things that were treated and covered by insurance. So he may have blown through a lot of what he personally had chasing, you know.
They just bought a $5 million house in cash.
Well, that's the parents. That's not him. The parents could say, screw you. That was him that bought it, wasn't the parents?
Yes. Oh.
I mean, I guess then you'd say, well, are we going, that was, you know, are you going to sell the family home to, you know.
They bought it a month ago.
Sell the family home.
1 month. Get the hell out of here. Stop trying to make excuses for these people. Not the firing squad. That's too gentle. The gallows for all of them. The kids first, so his wife gets to watch the gallows. And then you'll incentivize these people to no one else. Learn.
Wow.
Do not behave like this in public.
And you judge Sean Clark for trying to incentivize people not to behave like that in public.
No.
And here you are hanging Vanderbeeks.
I judge Sean Clark for trying to look like he's 19 years old. That's all I judge him.
To be fair, no one 19 dresses like that. So he's like a time
traveling. That's the point. It's hilarious. It's hilarious in its farcical attempt to do so. But that's what he's trying, right? Oh, bro, shave your head, for Christ's sake. Anyway, I'm going to digress. This is kind of funny. Gene Simmons, this was posted by someone, I forget. Gene Simmons announced in conjunction with Fanboy Expo, Legends of Rock Con in Las Vegas. The general consensus on the Facebook group seems to be this is going to be a mess.
Yeah, Gene is. I'll say it right now. I'm not going to Vegas. I probably wasn't going to Vegas. He probably could have brought Tupac back from the Vegas morgue, and I wouldn't have made the trip because I didn't make the trip for Atlanta. But I think it's going to be Ari kind of on the group kind of painted like two scenarios. One where he gets like, you know, Joe Perry and, you know, like big names of rock like that. And another where he kind of just gets like, you know, hairband types of like quasi Virgils, which now we can use since we explained the word. And I know Gene Simmons on a personal level, I'm not a huge fan of his ideas. And to be fair, he's not really running this show. It's run by Fanboy Expo, which is out of like Knoxville, Tennessee. So I don't know how much say Gene Simmons has, but Gene Simmons is not a friend of mine since he has all these comments about like hip hop and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't think he's going to be bringing out, you know, Eric B. and Rakim. at anything. If he has to say, he ain't doing what I want him to do. So this is not going to be for me regardless.
I mean, the con is called Legends of Rock.
Yeah, that in and of itself is a mistake. Why are we limiting ourselves to rock? You could have it be something with music and have 90% rock if you want. But I mean, why are you cutting off the possibility?
There's a certain, because it's really it's going to be just a rebranded Kiss thing, probably. The only other guy, I forget his name, is someone from Kiss also.
I saw his picture. I'm not a Kiss person. I just got his photo up as a combo god appeasement. So
I didn't even pay for it. I didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, I think you were going to confess to mooching it when he said I didn't pay for it.
No.
You got to watch your words.
Steel City Con. This week was like, what the hell are they doing over in Pittsburgh, over in Monroeville? Because it was just like hit. All right, so the first thing, we'll announce the negative. They canceled Fiona Dourif. It's funny. I've seen Fiona Dourif at a half dozen cons over the years. I've never gotten her because she's never been in anything. Now that she's in the pit and I'm watching the pit and I want her, now she cancels Steel City. So I was going to get her and I'm probably never going to. But they've since added William Fichtner, Rosanna Arquette. Okay, fine. Then Patricia Arquette, who has been a horror want for people, like an A-tier horror name who has not done a con ever, but who's been on people's request lists for decades. I mean, I remember seeing her name on request lists on the Monster Mania board back in like 2007. Okay, that's how long ago. And not to be outdone by the incredible Patricia Arquette ad, they then added Roseanne Barr, and it's just like my mind is blown.
Yeah, Steel City. I was in, but I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of in that weird feeling like I was the last time we went, where I was in, and I was not gonna. I take my con commitment seriously. I was not gonna back out, but I was like, why am I really doing this? I'm driving all this way for what? Lori Loughlin, Kevin Nealon, like they're cool, but like, is it that cool? And I kept saying to myself, I need something. I need something to really make me feel good about this so I can go with a smile on my face. Like, honestly, the way the last show was, the way the lineup was before, I was feeling like, if I fall asleep at the wheel, is it that bad? Like, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Like, I'll try to stay awake, but I'm not going to fight to stay awake. I'm going to fight to stay awake now. This is an insane lineup. Roseanne, politics aside, comments aside, I would never defend what she said, and I assume she deserved to get booted, accidental or not, from the show. You can't have her on the show making comments like that. But I'm very much tunnel vision about their work and what I like, and I liked Roseanne a lot. Roseanne jumped the shark several times. If it didn't, I would argue it with Frasier and Seinfeld and the other like elite sitcoms. I can't now because the lotteries, death, and resurrections, and it was bad. It really got bad. But those early seasons are classic, and Roseanne is one I never thought I would get. So I'm thrilled about that. And Arquette is crazy. Boyhood, I love. Nightmare, I love. Like, she's just a great name. And that's just two little credits I threw out there. I'm pumped. And I think I'll finally get William Fichtner because I'm a Mom fan. He's been in a lot of other movies. And he's becoming like a Robert Patrick, where I see him, I'm like, next time. Well, this is next time.
Yeah, honestly, Patricia Arquette, I'm so excited for. It's just wild to me that my Nightmare 3 poster is basically going to be done. I just need the psychiatrist, and that's it.
In hindsight, I wish when I went to Oaks and I got Freddie at the table, when I got locked in your house and I had to get your glove and that whole rigmarole, I didn't get the rest of the Nightmare 3 people because they did what all reunions do, which is jack up the price. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I don't need it. I don't need to start a Nightmare 3 print. I wish I would have, because now Fishburne was out, Arquette is out. I would have had one the same level of complete as yours, give or take. And I should have.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had John Saxon.
Yeah, which is pretty big. But, to do it now, to start with her and have to try to get Fishburne again, which is no certainty, and have to deal with Freddie, and I don't think I'm going to. I know you floated to me about splitting a VIP, and it makes sense, but I don't know. I have a Roseanne piece that was legit the same printer as the Patrick Wilson, and it was signed in Sharpie. So I mean, God knows what the hell that thing's going to look like in a couple of years. So I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to dump more money into that. I don't think, or any money into that. And I didn't get. Plus, I picked the wrong Becky on the print. I did the Sarah Chalk Becky because I thought I'd have a better chance of seeing her, and that was a miscalculation. So
catastrophic.
Yeah. So I think I might be pro op only, which
shocking
would take me out of the running for a VIP. So I don't know. I got a soul search.
Let's see. So this popped up, and I was curious what your thoughts were about it. I think we're probably more alike than you want to admit on this one. So Coach's Collectibles, who I know you love to simp for, they had a pre-announced they were going to have a non-sports signing, and they were hyping it, and it turns out to be Chaz Palminteri. The pricing on Chaz, Bronx Tale is Chaz's only life's work. The pricing is wild. It's wild for Chaz. It's $109 for an autograph, $109 for a photo op, $199 combo. If you want a character name, it's $25 extra. If you want a short quote, it's $40 extra from a menu. And if you want a longer quote, it's $60 an extra also from a menu. What are your thoughts of this booking and this pricing?
Well, first of all, I don't simp for Coach's Collectibles. They book signings in my neck of the woods, and they're good. So I'm going to be fair. I have no reason to complain about them. To talk about Chaz and the pricing, I don't see Chaz as a $200 combo. I don't. I think he's about $50 too high on the combo. If you want to go 109 on the a la carte, I think it should have at least been at least do a really incentivized combo. That's barely a combo price. It's like what, $18 off, which is something. But I don't think he's that great of a name to be $200. If I didn't meet him, I would be there. I kind of want to start, which you'll laugh at. You have laughed at. I want like a Bronx Tale piece. Because Lilo is out, although he was booted from Chiller because he, did something wrong and then paid his debt to society, and then still can't be, we can't let him earn some money because, we should make anything just a death penalty since people can't come back into society afterwards and do a convention booking because, God forbid. But I still I could get him, I could get Chaz, I could get the what the hell's the girl's name? The girlfriend of Lilo. That would be good enough for me. If I never got De Niro, which I wouldn't, I'd be fine with that. I'm tempted to go down there just to start the print, but I probably won't.
I have no interest. Too high. Way too high.
Well, you disrespect the Bronx Tale. I mean, you and I talked about this yesterday. Bronx I agree with you.
It's fine, but my comparison was because it's not Goodfellas.
It's by not. A long shot. I said that yesterday. And it's not The Godfather for sure.
Well, I mean, obviously, yes. And then so people they treat Chaz like this auteur, or I don't know.
It's a good movie. It is a good movie. It is a regionally popular movie. Again, much like Michael Richards, probably not as popular in Atlanta, but it's a good New York movie. I think the pricing's a little bit high. They're leaning heavily on it being a Long Island event, and I don't know. He's done like the different talks in Huntington and different things like that, but he's never done a straight up Long Island autograph signing. I don't know how important that is. Are there people on Long Island that need him that don't travel? I don't know.
All the mooks who haven't gone to any of his other events will come out for this. Maybe, I don't know. I find the pricing. I mean, if he's asking for a guarantee, I Lord knows what he's asking for that level of pricing. I mean, could he be asking for six figures?
I can't imagine. I don't think so.
So. Even $50K. It's 250 combos. I don't even know. It's madness. I don't know. Anyway, kind of an interesting event coming up on Long Island. It's in a month, so it's pretty quick. It's called the Moonlight Market Expo. It's not a con. It's like a vendor event, but they do have two guests. Doug Jones from Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water and a whole bunch of other stuff, and Harvey Guillen, who's a voice actor and a little bit of an uncommon name for cons. It certainly makes this event kind of an interesting potential one. I mean, Doug Jones has just not been around that much. He was around a lot. I got him at Big Apple Con back in the day in 2008, but he hasn't been around that much.
Yeah, I met Doug before. I need Doug on some Hocus Pocus stuff. Harvey Guillen, I assume, is going to be another Cool Waters guest, because I can't imagine that there's two different agencies repping talent at this Moonlight Market Expo. I'm assuming Cool Waters is bringing both of them. I want to go for Doug, but honestly, I'm a little gun shy now with the Patrick Wilson thing, and I'll tell you why. After this printer, I printed Patrick Wilson on a crappy whatever. I mean, it wasn't crappy. It was like an average type of home printer. After COVID, I bought a nice. I dropped I was balling after COVID. I was selling so much stuff. I was getting paid for doing nothing. I was doing pretty good. I bought the engagement. I bought my wife's engagement ring. I was going crazy, and I also bought like a $700 Epson printer that printed posters. My logic was it'll be cheaper to print them at home. When I got done buying the ultra premium paper and the ink and all this other crap, I probably paid 5 times as much for each print as I would have from our current printer. But anyway, so I printed a lot of 11 by 17s that way. So I have my Hocus Pocus, got it done in blue Sharpie because it's very white and it looks good and it looks perfect. But now I'm like freaking out because I'm like, it's Sharpie. 90% of what I did is paint. Paint ain't fading to the point of vanishing, no matter what you sign it on. But blue, now I'm worried. Do I add someone else to this thing? I don't know what I do. I think the answer is I keep on keeping on because it looks fine. But that Patrick Wilson thing completely like frazzled me.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that one. It is interesting. So you're not going to go to this then?
I'm going to add it to my list. I got to check. Which, by the way, let's announce to the listening public that we have now created a shared marked out calendar. Oh crap! This is the day we have scheduled for more inventory.
Well, it's 2 days, so you can do the other day.
Who's going to go on Sunday to do this? That's crazy talk. Might have to do both.
Terrificon, which was kind of sort of was on our radar, and then they added Patrick Warburton, which makes it significantly much more on our radar. I'm not going to say right now that I'm 100% committed to it. It is in August. Lots can change by then. There's a good chance Patrick Warburton will cancel because he always does. But certainly that show is on my radar now.
I'll be back from Jamaica. They have the Ninja Turtles. I have that massive box set, which you will laugh at me when I bring around because it's not going to fit in the cart. It's going to have to just hang out of the cart. It's huge, but I want that signed. So I would like to get the Turtles one more time, and I need Warburton. So I'm leaning that way.
I like Terrificon as a show as well. So
it's fun.
Yeah. Chiller Theater added a whole bunch of guests. They added Lorenzo Lamas, Dhillon Cannon, the beginnings of the Thing reunion.
I think it might be the beginning and the end.
No, I think there's one of them coming. The Buccos are coming from The Sopranos, both of them. And big ad was Judd Hirsch from Taxi. He hasn't done a lot.
No, I completely chickened out last year. Vinny and Zach and Greg 2600, respecting the gimmick, they all ventured up to I don't know where the hell it was. It was up in I the Poughkeepsie area, and he was doing a little theater up there. He was doing a performance, and in my old age, I've gotten a little gun shy about investing much time or effort or travel into stalks. These stalking missions where you're gambling the limited free time you have on a gamble. I prefer a guarantee that I will get to go into an event and waste my time and money. I don't want to worry if I maybe get what I set out for. So I never got Judd Hirsch, and he's in his 90s, and I figured I'll never get him now. But I'm pumped. Judd Hirsch is absolutely awesome. I was always a big Taxi fan in syndication, so this is cool.
Then, not to be outdone, Chill Out. They added Sergeant Slaughter. They added Karen Parsons from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then they went ahead and added first time ever con guest, excuse me. I don't know if he's gone to a con or not. Boy George. So what are your thoughts on the Boy George ad? Because between Brooke Shields and Boy George, this is kind of an insane 80s lineup here.
After Boy George was announced, I texted Tom and I said, which I think honestly is the best way of complimenting what he's been doing. The names he's adding in Boy George and Brooke Shields are names, if you would have told me, okay, write down 100 names that have never done cons, but like you think would that you think are possibilities, they would not have been on that list. He finds these people and gets these deals done that you never even hear other people really talking about them. I don't have the excitement that you have for Brooke Shields. And I understand that I want to be clear. I know you're not some like Brooke Shields a maniac. You don't have a Brooke Shields tattoo. You were more just talking about, as funny as it is to play up you being the super fan, you were more so just making like commentary about her role and her impact on the world. I get that.
And really I'm making fun of the people who really don't think she's a big name, but that's part of it as well.
But I mean, when you look at other cons and it's sort of like, oh, this show's got Robert Englund, this show's got Skeet Ulrich, this show's got whatever. These
Clemente.
Yeah, these various retreads. Michael Rooker and whoever else that you keep seeing at these different shows. Find me a show with Boy George. Find me a show with Brooke Shields. That is, if Chill Out, like that's what they do. They bring out people that you don't really expect to see. And that's sick. Was I singing Boy George songs in the shower when I was 11? I was not. I know some of his songs. Honestly, I probably like more Boy George songs than I do like the dude from Bruce Dickinson. I'm probably more of a Boy George fan just from like listening on a radio and hearing stuff than that. So I will get Boy George I wouldn't say for good reason, but I'll get him. It's huge.
Yeah, undeniably. I mean, it's a big name. It's a big name. Boy George had his moment in the 85, whatever it was, where he was one of the biggest stars in the world for a minute. And that's obviously his star just faded dramatically after that. But there was a minute where he was one of the biggest faces on earth. And that's always a fascinating thing, because like, I feel like, and part of it is probably to some degree, the fog of war, I guess. But like, I don't see the names of today reaching the heights of superstardom that the names of the past did. Like a Paul McCartney or a Michael Jackson, where these people were just universally known to literally everyone on earth. And I'm not sure it's weird because in an age when communication is so much more global, I'm not sure we have faces and names who are that big, and I'm not sure why. I mean, I don't know, but anyway, and so to see someone who had this moment, there's two people with these moments, these massive moments in history, is really interesting. It's really interesting to see them it'll be interesting to see them at a con table.
I think there's people. I think there's a handful of names. I don't want to go down a whole debate about this, but I think Rihanna. I think perhaps Lady Gaga, although she's kind of tailed off a little bit. I think there's people that have a chance of being on that if Rihanna did a convention when she's 55 or 60. That the people are going to have the same reaction. I think there's a handful. Not many, but honestly, there weren't that many back then. In other Chill Out news, I told you this, I'm going to tell the listeners now. I think I have to pay the Piper, pay the Paul, pay the Sarge. I have that WrestleMania 7 poster signed by Hulk. I got to get Sarge on it and call it complete. And I got to do a Hasbro. I have to. He's not getting any younger. He's not going to get any cheaper. I was hoping he would end up doing like a virtual with Ken or something that I could maybe get a slightly better rate out of it, but I'm going to get those two essentials done. So I think I'm going to start looking for a Hasbro and just pull the trigger and do it.
The idea of paying Sarge in 2026 when Sarge was on the super ticket years ago, I won't do it. I refuse.
Bigger than the super ticket, the rates I had, some of those bulks. Like there was that time I definitely gave Sarge COVID because I was sick. I didn't know what I had, and I ended up having COVID. And I was at the K&S Sportatorium, I think, with COVID. I had a stack of crap for Sarge. And Ken gave me a good rate back then. That was like right when like COVID was just starting and there wasn't even like a thought of premium pricing. And I had a stack for Sarge. But I didn't have a Hasbro and I didn't own the WrestleMania 7 poster. So here we are.
Yeah, big news over in France. Aaron Paul was just added to Comic-Con France. That's a common thing where these huge names who really won't do cons in America will do cons overseas because they'll get a free vacation out of it. That's a lot of it. What it is as simple as it sounds. So why doesn't
Aaron want a free vacation to Monroeville, Pennsylvania?
All right.
Yeah.
What did Bret the Hitman Hart say? If I wanted to give the United States of America an enema, I'd stick the hose right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right. So that's probably why. So it's one of my favorite promos of all time, by the way. That's like anyone who says, total digression, anyone who says Bret wasn't a good promo or that Shawn was a better promo than Bret is a moron. And I will go to my grave with that. Just because of lines like that, no one could deliver that line but Bret Hart. It's a brilliant line. It's genius. Bret's the best.
Think about that promo if Kurt and if they could have made that WrestleMania 20 Angle Hart match happen and they would have brought that promo up and Kurt saying how he's representing Pittsburgh against. I mean, that would have been a fun little Easter egg if that ever got off the ground.
Monster Mania added Ethan Embry, and I discovered that you have not seen any Ethan Embry movies, which is really interesting for me. Because he was kind of in two, I would say, in pretty important staples from the mid to late 90s for different reasons. You had I lost my train of thought. Oh, Empire Records, which is iconic for launching the careers of Liv Tyler and Renee Zellweger. Just sort of, Rex Manning Day is like a thing that is, infiltrated the pop culture. You've never even heard of it, right?
No.
It's wild. And then Can't Hardly Wait, which was where the soundtrack for Can't Hardly Wait is, where they launched Damn It by Blink-182. So I didn't even know that was a song. I've heard of Blink-182, but I didn't know that was a song.
Ethan Embry, I did see. Let's not disrespect my movie watching too much. I watched Vegas Vacation as Rusty Griswold, so I will likely get him just from that. Although Vegas Vacation is the one vacation I didn't do a full-size poster on, so I got nothing for him. But I will get the photo up. He's significant enough.
There you go. And then finally, last bit of con news, MegaCon Orlando announced Dogpool. So Dogpool is getting around, really becoming a true con Virgil.
And like a true con Virgil, the only way Dogpool is going to stop going to the cons is when is it a boy or a girl? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Well, when I don't want to misgender the dog, but when Dogpool dies is when she will stop doing cons, or he. And that is a true con Virgil, just like Adam West. Dogpool and Adam West are kind of one and the same.
Kindred spirits.
Yes.
So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting Community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. If you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Our friends at Big Time Wrestling are putting on a huge wrestling con and show on Saturday, March 14th at the OUC Shoemaker Center in Chillicothe, Ohio. Talent such as Diamond Dallas Page, Jerry the King Lawler, Mickey James, John Laurinaitis, The Great Sasuke, Stan Hansen, and more will be appearing. Tickets are available at WCPBTWTIX.com. If you like what you're hearing, please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and or review. You can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating on our show overall on Spotify or a comment on individual episodes. And you can leave a comment, a thumbs up or a thumbs down on individual episodes on YouTube. All right, so now it's time for our marked out vocab word of the week. You know, I actually tried to drop this one in. Did you notice me doing it?
Yes. I don't think I did, actually. No, I didn't.
That's actually worse. I was trying to sprinkle it in. You didn't even notice. So the word of the week, once again, comes from the Class 316 dictionary. That word is realm. And often, class will use this word in the context of calling someone in the Andre realm or in the Virgil realm or in some other kinds of realms. Do you want to tackle this one or should I? What does it mean to
I'm
be
ready.
in a
I'm
realm?
ready to tackle this one. The reason I didn't catch you sprinkling it in is because it's part of my language. I don't think.
But that's sick because normal people don't say that. You know that, right?
I mean, I think if I'm not trying to be normal, you've seen inside my lair here. So I mean, I'm pretty comfortable.
No, I don't mean. Sorry, I misspoke. Like decontextualized, people don't use that word that way.
No, unless you're in like Lord of the Rings or something. Like you're not talking about the realm. Like it's
no,
weird.
But even still, that use of the word realm is at least it refers to a world, right? But to refer to the Andre realm or the Virgil realm doesn't really mean quite that. So even it's something not quite literal.
Well, let me explain it. I actually have a very good example here. The word realm in the Class 316 way and in the marked out way would sort of pertain to like basically a person's like viability for doing cons. The Virgil realm would mean that you are someone that is everywhere. You are omnipresent, you are accessible, you are common. The Andre realm was sort of self-explanatory, where you're dead. That's it. Unless you can figure out how to cross over to the other side and get combos, you ain't getting them. Andre realm, dead. And then the third realm, this is where it gets kind of interesting, was the savage realm. The savage realm, he was very much alive until he wasn't, and he was just impossible, until he probably wouldn't have been, but he died. And it was something where, Nails was in the savage realm at that point. Savage was in the savage realm. Dynamite Kid was in the savage realm. Giant Gonzalez before James and Terrence sent like boxes his way and then he dropped dead not long after was in the savage realm. But then what happened? One fateful day, Randy Savage is driving his car. He has a heart attack. He crashes. And he's dead. So now is the savage realm. What's the savage realm? Is it the same as the Andre realm? Is there a new? Do we have to like sort of, give the savage realm to someone who sort of fits that narrative? I don't know.
And so you'd be talking to Steve and you'd be hypothesizing and trying to predict guests, and he would throw out, nah, this one's the savage realm. This one's the Andre. It's so funny because again, it's the part that's funny to me is you said, well, obviously Andre realm means they're dead. Only if you belong to a tiny subset of the planet do you know that the Andre realm means that someone is dead and that you're referring to Andre the Giant and not like someone else, right? So that's funny too. And that's the way he would speak, and that's the way. So I believe, I can't remember which realm I threw out before. I think it was Virgil realm. It could have been Andre realm. I don't remember, but yeah, that is the definition of the word realm. It means their viability for doing cons or kind of paid combos. I'm going to go ahead and skip over this topic because looking at the time, we're way over.
Yeah.
You all right with that? Okay, yeah. Good. Let's just go right to the questions. We'll deal with this topic. It's a shame. We were going to talk about the video of the stickers from Hogan's Beach Shop, but we don't have time. We'll do it next week. So we for some bizarre reason picked 4 questions instead of 3. So let's get through these questions.
All right, question 1 I selected from Tyler. This has been sitting in our reserves for a little bit, so it was time to get to it. Who is your number 1 wrestling photo op want? Living, not dead. So maybe not the Virgil realm, but definitely not the Andre realm. Got to be some other realms. You take it first.
For me, it's pretty straightforward. It's going to be Brock Lesnar. He's the biggest star who I've never met. That's pretty straightforward.
I would have thought you would have gone with Roman, but that's fair. My answer is basically the same. It is Brock Lesnar. I have I mean, yeah, I'm going to say Brock Lesnar. I really should say Vince. Yeah, I'm going to say Brock Lesnar.
All right, that was an easy one.
Yeah.
The second question is from William. What is the worst signature that you've gotten? Mine was Marley Shelton. When I met her at Monster Mania in Oaks a couple of years ago, I paid $80 for her to write my name clearly. Then when she signed her name, it was the letter M and then a line. For scientists, that's child. I'm sorry for laughing, William. That's so funny the way you wrote that. I almost became a Karen wanting my money back. I bit my tongue and walked away. However, it made me more conscientious when getting autographs. I now start to research how they sign items before I decide to buy an autograph. I love, William, by the way, I love that you're thinking about aesthetics when you're deciding whether to buy an autograph. That is I think, a wise move. But I actually love this question. So what is the worst signature that you've gotten?
Are we counting street graphs or paid graphs?
I don't care. I am guessing from context. William is asking about paid graphs.
All right. Worst overall would be Pacino, and I love Al a lot. I really do. But I mean, when you catch Al at a guardrail, he does that little like check mark, and then he does a little like dot or tap for like emphasis, and it's a check mark and a dot. Like he'll just like poke the item with the pen. That's what he does. And I like the autograph I got, but I mean, it doesn't look pretty. For a paid graph, I'll be completely honest. If I want an autograph to look like the way the person signs it. If the person, let's say someone I really like does a con, and I never met them before, and their autograph basically consists of coating their rectum with Posca paint, and they just fart and spray the wet paint fragments on my item, and that's what their autograph is, I'll want it. I don't care what it looks like. If that's what their autograph is, if that is, dare I say, the valid signature of that person, I want it. The quality does not really impact what I would pay or how much I would desire it.
No, where were we a few months ago where someone had signed so badly that you asked them to include the character name?
You're right. Thank you for reminding me of that. I didn't not want the autograph. I just needed the character name. I will tell the story.
That's not what he said. He wants to know what your worst signature is.
Oh, okay. I was speaking to him that he's more conscientious before he buys them. I'll buy the worst autograph known to man. But and for that answer, it was Jeremy Davies from the Black Phone, from Lost, and several other things. I didn't have character names on that piece because Ethan Hawke was on the street. He didn't give me one. I didn't ask for one. So I figured I'll keep it the same until I saw how bad Jeremy's autograph was. And I said, all right, actually, hold on. Please add that so I know who the hell signed it. So and then I felt bad, and I asked him like, oh, what made you make such a unique signature? And he gave me some crap about I don't know what the hell he said, but it was bad. But I still was happy to have it. What's your answer?
I mean, Richard Dreyfuss was a bad autograph. That whole experience was bad, but I know what it was. So I asked him to do. I was still doing personalizations. And I asked him to personalize and to do a particular quote. But I don't know if you know anything about Richard Dreyfuss, but he's pretty much drunk 24/7. And so he wrote my name, and then he wrote hi, and then he signed badly, which pissed me off immensely. So that was annoying. I'm going to be honest, Olivia Hussey's autographs were kind of crap. Some of the ones that she was throwing out there were not great, especially next to Leonard's, which were beautiful. Trying to think of any other ones that I remember. To be fair,
though, when you see the few other crappy things on the market besides ours, that was sort of her signature, even on through the mail.
Yes, all right. 30, 40 years ago, she signed more fully, but in the past 40 years, she signed the same badly. She was making fun of Leonard for signing so much. Else, I'm trying. There was someone else I feel like who just was like a weird check mark. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's enough. Richard Dreyfuss. I'm gonna go ahead and say Richard Dreyfuss was bad. That's that one. I do appreciate that William is looking up for
Tiara James. Tiara James' signature sucks.
Yeah, but she's not even a person. I mean, I said that wrong. She is a person. She's not famous, it's whatever. Yes. But not the ones that you can buy from Out Collectibles. Those are good.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, next question.
All right, Chris asks, what are your thoughts on pre-signed edition books? Thinking about last week's Brooke Shields talk, which at this point is probably multiple weeks. Luckily, we talk about Brooke Shields every week. I can get her signed book for $30, but I'm sure her auto at a con would be higher in price. So what do we think about pre-signed books? I will take this. First, I have many pre-signed books. I like them conceptually. I like the idea. I know you don't. I like the idea that you could design like a custom mat. You do a cut, and you can kind of get someone on the cheap. You can get a signed piece from Arnold or whatever, cheaper than you would if you bought it where it's actually signed on the item. To me, it's cool, but it's different. It's like, you buy like there's like new wrestling figures now that are for sale at like Dollar Tree for $5. Like that is a wrestling figure. The signed book is an autograph, but I mean it's not the same as an Ultimate. It's not the same as a Hasbro. It's you get what you pay for. It's not as cool, but I am not above adding some cheap, authentic signed books to my collection to have something from these people. I do that. That's my move on presidents. I have Barack. I got Bill. I got Hillary adjacent, and I have to get I got to get W at some point.
I got W. So it really, to me, depends on the name. So for politicians, books make sense. For a lot of them. Look, I understand why they're cheaper. Let's talk about that. Fundamentally, the reason why they're cheaper is because they can't be displayed nicely. And even if you cut them out and put them with a picture, it's a cut. And cuts are always worth a lot less than other ones. And even in a lot of these pre-signed books, they're signed in mass market editions. There are 5, 10, 15,000 copies. And that's a lot. It's actually a way to saturate the market. But in a weird way, okay, so I'm going to make a hot take right here. The presence of Arnold book cuts, the presence of Arnold books, what it does, in my opinion, is it actually drives the cost of premium autographs up because it makes them comparatively more interesting and scarce on the market. Sure, you can get a signed book, but if you want a signed original poster, well, you know what I mean? And so that's true of a lot of these people. So Brooke Shields, sure, you can buy her book. And she has a beautiful signature in the book, for $30, $20. I saw them $25, $20. But to get, a Calvin Klein jeans ad or a Vogue magazine cover or, a Blue Lagoon poster or something like that done, it's going to be a couple $100. So yeah, because the item itself, the aesthetic value of the item matters a lot.
Yeah, and cheap plug, because what else would I do but cheap plug? During inventory, I sort of took full assessment of my signed book stock. And I have a stack of signed Arnolds. I have 6. I have 6 that I will be selling. I don't know when I'll be selling them. I think the market is ridiculous. For a while there, they were selling for like $60. I refused. Now they sell for around $100. I still refuse. But I was going to wait until he died to list them, and now I'm like, screw it. I want everything listed, so at least it's out there. So I put them up on eBay for $179. I know I'll be getting, I'm sure, but by the next time we record, someone will message me like, hey, you want to sell all 6 for $500? And no, I don't want to sell all 6 for $500, and I won't be. They will sit on there until they sell somewhere in that ballpark. An Arnold signature should not be $60, should not be $90. If I sell them when I'm 57 years old, I'll be fine with that. But I have other books that the market value is a little bit more competitive. I will be adding them to our eBay store. I may even do a Facebook group drop with all of them. I got Keanu's, I got Patrick Stewart's, I got some good stuff that that the value has gone up enough since I bought them that I will part with them.
And then finally, from the Captain Kangaroo himself, question is, have either of you guys ever had an in-person experience where you seriously feared for your safety?
I'm going to ask you to take this first. I'm trying to think of something.
So I actually have 2. And they were both for the same reason. The first was at No. Okay. What? When New Jack was like... I never felt like in danger of my safety. No, the first was at Walker Stalker, and then again in the pavilion of Rhode Island Comic Con, where there were so many people and it was packed in so tightly that I was genuinely afraid if someone yelled something or if there was a danger, people would be trampled and genuinely hurt. It was I do not like being in super tight spaces where I can't move at all. And both Walker Stalker and at that one Rhode Island show, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, when I couldn't move at all, and I was completely wall to wall with other people, shoulder to shoulder, and I had to get the hell out of there. I really felt like there was a potential for a major problem.
Yeah, I like that answer so much like your car. I may end up stealing it because I really can't think. I was trying to think of situations that maybe I should have felt sort of whatever, like a little uneasy for my safety. Like when we were waiting, when Lanza and I were in Central Park until like 1 a.m. waiting for Pacino. I mean, you don't really want to wander around Central Park in the middle of the night, but I felt fine. When you and I were in Spanish Harlem outside, we were like right on the same block as like a housing project, waiting around for Harrison Ford when he yelled at us and also signed for us. I didn't feel unsafe then.
No,
I can't, like, those are times where some people might, but like I didn't. So I don't think I have really an answer. So I agree with you. Like just being in a situation like that where it's like claustrophobia and you're like, holy crap, if something happens, like I'm screwed.
I really that even more than Walker Stalker. That one time at Rhode Island, I genuinely thought I was gonna get hurt. I don't know. Maybe I was being unreasonable. I don't know, but I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. I really feel like.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time?
I do. But I actually have a story, and the funny thing is, this is how deranged I am. I'm going to tell this really quick story. Lanza and I were in the city. This is back, I think, 2009. We were invited to old school Mike Simon's birthday party at his apartment at the time when he lived in Manhattan. So, I mean, what good would a trip to the city be without stalking? So Lanza and I did the, we did the play for Kelsey Grammer. So we got Kelsey Grammer and we're walking through Times Square. I think we were walking to the subway because he was up. I don't want to blow where he lived. I guess if I blow an old spot, it doesn't matter. He was up around like Central Park. So we're walking to the subway, and as I'm walking, it was like the Times Square, area. There was a car on fire, or so I thought. I saw the car on fire, and the cops were like yelling to everyone, like, "Move, move, move!" So I'm walking by, and I was looking at the car, and I looked to Lanza, and I was speaking rather loudly, and I did my class voice, and I don't know what the hell I was saying, like, "Oh wow, the car is on fire!" And I was doing the whole like class shtick. And I was laughing about it. I didn't think anything of it. And long story short, that was that like Lion King car bomb that the terrorist had in the car, and like they built it all messed up. It didn't blow up. It just sort of like went on fire a little bit. So we walked by that Lion King car bomb after stalking Kelsey Grammer, but I wasn't afraid in the moment. I was just like laughing and doing the class voice, and I mean, completely deranged. And honestly, after that, because at that point I was still commuting to the city every day for classes, and that was part of the thing. I was getting exhausted by the commute, and I'm like, holy crap! I was like stalking Kelsey Grammer, like not an essential thing in life, and I like wandered by like a car bomb. This was closer to 9/11, so it was like a different world kind of in my head. And I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I really want to be doing this commute every single day, walking around every single day. And that was part of what like I transferred and like stopped going there. That wasn't really that. That was like just like the way COVID killed ROH. That's what sort of pushed me over the edge on my city educational career.
There you go. There's a lesson buried in there somewhere.
Don't talk like class during a terrorist attack.
What? So what's coming up for us? Really, I should be asking you what's coming up for you because there's so many things you have going on. So, is it possible Sally Struthers gets derailed this week, or you're still gung ho?
I mean, I bought the ticket, so I'll be there, and she might die. Now I gotta worry about Judd Hirsch dying. So I can't add another person on my list. So I will be there. My metas will be rolling. You guys will be taken inside Cabaret Night, whether you want to be or not. It will be on your feed. You will see it and you will hear about it. I will be at Cabaret Night. I got to print something that I'll never be able to get completed because the other 3 are dead. Or if I look at it in the good way, which I'm going to choose to look at it, it will be completed in one night because they are all in the Andre realm.
In the Andre realm now, which is also that Andre realm, which is now occupied by Savage as well, and Rob Reiner. What have we called it? The Rob Reiner realm, because it's very alliterative.
I think the Rob Reiner. I'm making an executive decision. The Rob Reiner realm is anyone that was murdered. So that's how it's going to be.
That is a bold example. Will Steve approve changes unilaterally to his lexicon, or what do you think?
Listen, I think Class can barely remember his own lexicon at this point. He's so fried.
He knows these words. We can ask him what the realm.
Comment on the show graphic, Class, when you listen to this episode in about 6 weeks. 6?
You're being very generous. In a year, we'll get an angry email. I'll get an angry email about some mistake, something I messed up
from Steven Soul, SOLE.
Yep. Let's get those emails once in a while. I went the last email we got from him. He yelled at me for something. I brought up something on the show. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, but I can't wait. I can't wait till Switcheroo is our word of the week. Then we're gonna get an email.
But he got mad, and I'm like, Steve, no one even knows what you're like. No one knew what Steven talking about.
You're blowing up my spot, man. Come on, don't be a dick.
But I didn't even at the time. I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. I didn't even do it on purpose. Anyway,
you think
shopping? Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to get flagged for a curse word said in Steve's accent. Will the AI know what I said?
It'll know. So you got 2 Chains coming up as well.
Yes, 2
What
chains.
day is that? Is that on the marked out calendar? I'm not sure it is.
No, it's not. Let me see. I don't even know what day it is. It's in my calendar, though. Siri will remind me. Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 o'clock.
It's a Tuesday?
A Tuesday, yep. We got the Barnes & Noble going up on a Tuesday.
That's hostile. Monster Mania, of course. What I need to do is I need to order stuff for Ethan Embry. The question is, do I really want to start either an Empire Records or a Can Hardly Wait poster? Because both of them have these like mammoth casts, huge ensemble casts of tons of hard names to get. Both of them. Can Hardly Wait is probably Empire Records is probably the easier cast to get more people on. I'm not sure if that's even true. I take it back. I think they're both a little bit. I mean, Can't Hardly Wait. You can get like Melissa Joan Hart. Jennifer Love Hewitt just really doesn't do any cons. Like she was going to, I think that time is that never did it. She did 1 or 2 and never did anymore.
Well, Lance is gonna love this. You might be starting more autograph projects.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think this is really going anywhere. That's maybe I shouldn't even buy it. Honestly,
I think you should. You have to. It's
it's
literally in the title. You Can't Hardly Wait. You got to do it.
Do you know what that's? All right. Do you know what that's a reference to?
Sex?
No. I mean, yes, but no. It's actually it's a song by the Replacements about a guy who's contemplating his own suicide, and that's what he's eagerly anticipating his own demise. That's what the song is about. Which is ironic because in the context of the movie, it's obviously meant for you to think it's about sex, but it's really not. It's quite a dark use of the song. It's a great song. The song was only ever played in the closing credits of the movie anyway. But I digress. What else we got? Steel City. I mean, we've talked about Steel City enough. Big event. It looks like I think we can close the book on Marked Out Collectibles having a table at Big Event. Sadly, we're officially closing that door. I think the reality of the situation is that our guests can't be there, unfortunately.
But where they can be is our eBay store, soon to be our website, and a wall or a binder near you, but for a different price, because guess what? They're tearing up NXT every single week. The boys might be tag team champions after Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday, or no, Tuesday. Tuesday's when NXT is on. But it might happen. I'm not banking on it, but they're in a tag title match this soon. I'm happy.
Yeah, I thought the way that whole match went down was really funny. It was good. They're really doing well. They're really funny. Like the swipe right is really good.
I'll be completely honest. When I was shilling all this stuff and saying they're gonna make it, I knew they were going to make it. I believed it on that level, but I didn't think they were going to make it this quick, and they were going to be on NXT this featured by now. Like, I didn't think this. Maybe we wanted people to think I thought this, but I didn't think they were going to hit like this. Like, this is, like, quick.
I think you're supposed to kayfabe that. I don't think you're supposed to, like, say that out loud.
Listen, I'm too real, man. I'm going to say what I say. I knew they'd make it in a couple of years. I didn't think they'd make it in months. But holy crap, they're on.
Yeah, and unfortunately now, when it comes to cons, they're in the Savage realm. You see what I did there?
Yeah, Savage realm. Just don't take any drives on a Saturday afternoon or whatever day that was. Just
I don't even put that into the universe. Actually, you know what? We do have how many Jackson Prince?
No,
we just counted them all.
We got the River Phoenix of wrestling, guys. Come on. No, I would be upset. I don't think I would sell. I don't know if I'd drop them right away. I think I'd feel a little bad, maybe.
Stop lying. We would drop them right away. Not even a question.
Listen, I would definitely drop them I would do the eBay drop. Because there were times I didn't want the Facebook heat, but you could check my eBay.
That.
Check the eBay. I'm always dropping right when they die. They drop, I drop.
At all. Not even a tiny bit. Anyway, we litigated that enough. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, please email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. And we are still, for the next couple weeks, promoting just 2 signings. You can mail the mail order for Rick Martel at Big Event and mail order for Don Morocco at Big Event. We will, however, have a new private signings to announce next show, just not this show. Is that okay for me to say?
Yeah, for a second I'm like, wait, what the hell are you talking about? And then I remembered. So yes, I'm ready. I gotta start making all the graphics. Yeah,
just not for this show. We're not allowed to announce yet. I mean, if you used your brain, you could probably figure out. But we'll announce sometime next week. Wow, we still managed to go over 2 hours, even while cutting a full segment.
The con craziness. I mean, it was honestly, that was the main topic. That's how we should have done it. But
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Now we get. I think we're gonna run into Lance. I'm not sure if Lance comes up north over here.
I mean, I don't think anyone's running into Lance. Lance ain't running. I mean, we're gonna. You might see Lance.
You could turn a corner and just bounce into him.
Poor Lance. Listen,
now it's poor Lance. Now
you can't be doing crime if you're that big. I'm sorry. You gotta
I
gotta be svelte. You gotta blend in. If your ankle looks like a football, you can't do crimes. You are done. You are heart attack and buffet and hot dog eating contest. You're not a criminal, though. That's your timeline.
I think so. As much as I hate to make it about the size, on some level, it's about the size. Yeah. Poor bastard. Will he learn from this experience? My guess is no.
No.
But so it goes. All right. So I think we're good.
We're good.
All right. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week. Survive the blizzard.